Everything worthwhile in life will be uphill. A better marriage, a purposeful career, being intentional at home, having an impact in the community. None of it happens by accident, and none of it happens on a flat, effortless path. But here's the problem. Most of us are exhausted. We're tired of drifting. We're tired of feeling overwhelmed. And so we look for an escape. We choose to numb by scrolling, or the passivity of just getting by, or putting off what we know we should do for the long run, but for something that feels nice in the moment. Well, welcome to the Worthwhile Climb series. Over the next few weeks, we are stopping the slide. We're stopping drifting. We're going to give it up. And we're going to trade the easy escape for the hard, worthwhile work of significance. But we aren't doing it with giant leaps that lead to burnout. We're doing it with consistent small steps, just a tiny 1% change, that will raise the lid on our leadership and ultimately our legacies. It's time to stop drifting. It's time to start climbing. It's time for you to claim your day. This is the Claim Your Day podcast. I'm your host, Nick Mazey. If you're tired of drifting and you're ready to start living intentionally according to your values, you're in the right place, my friend. We're here to help you lead with excellence at home, at work, and in your community so you can live with significance. Let's bridge the gap between who you are today and who you are called to be. Now is the time for you to claim your day. Hello, my friends, and welcome. Welcome to episode 80 of the Claim Your Day podcast. Glad you're here and joining in. Hey, right now we're in the middle of this series on this worthwhile climb, because everything worthwhile is uphill all the way. So I want you to climb because it is worthwhile. It's worth your effort, even if it's a lot of work. Look, today, let's just go ahead and get into it. Because it can be challenging when you have this goal that's in front of you, but then it's tough to get there, and there's some challenges along the way. So let me tell me if you've ever been there where you're all fired up. You've identified your lid, from the last episode. What's kind of holding you back a little bit, but you're ready to climb. You've had this vision for your life, your goals. You have this vision, that what's pulling you forward, and it feels big, and you want to get after it. You're fired up. But then you look at your spouse, your kids, your family, your team, and they're not fired up. Like, they're not wearing their hiking boots, and you have this climb in front of you. And they're kind of comfortable where they're at, or at least they're not ready to just rock and roll and get after it. They're not as ambitious, and they don't see that vision that you do. So what do you do? Well, most people end up doing one of two things, and either one of them are not too good. Either they plow right through their family like a bulldozer to reach their goals because they have that vision, they have those goals, and that's really powerful and meaningful, and they know it'll be worth it, and so they push right through their loved ones. Or here's the other side, and it can be every bit as sad and heartbreaking, is that they use their family as that convenient excuse to stay on the couch, to give up on their goals and their dreams, their aspirations, to let go of that vision that they know could be really meaningful. And really, honestly, both are a tragedy. Both are a tragedy. So what if you don't have to choose between, your calling, and the kitchen table? What if you don't have to choose between that vision that you have for you, your life, and your family, and what's really important, and then, your family, what's really important right now? And so today we're going to be talking about the slow build, how to stay committed on that uphill climb, while also moving forward and caring for the people that you love most, and even your team too. If we're talking about at work, you have to care for your team members while you're casting that vision and driving forward. So how can you do that? And that's what we're going to get into. Look, so as always, I kind of have three major points. The first one is just a little bit about the framework. So think about it, the ambition, that drive, that ambition, that vision that you have, that's all about, that's the gas, that's what gets you going forward. It's what's going to keep you going, that ambition, that vision. When you can see that possibility, and it's meaningful, it's powerful. See, that's your drive, that's your fuel. That is awesome stuff. But you know what? The relationships that you have, those are kind of your steering wheel, if you will. So think about it. If you have all gas, like all ambition, and you don't care about those relationships, if you don't take those into account, without that steering wheel, so you're going to have all gas and no steering. Well, you're going to crash, buddy. I'm sorry. You might be going 100 miles an hour, but you're going to miss that turn. You're going to go off that cliff. You're going to hit that brick wall, whatever it is. You got to have both. And also, when you think about this, if you reach that summit of your professional or your personal goals, if you fulfill that big goal and that vision, but you're standing there all alone because you've burned every bridge to get there. You ignored the relationships. You bulldozed right through the family, the loved ones, the team, whatever it is, and you're there all alone. Did you really win? I don't think so. Now, I might not go as far as to call it a failure, but it sure wasn't a win. It sure wasn't the right way to do it, at least in my opinion. So when I say it like this, God gave you the vision, for that vision, that goal, that ultimate, achievement that you can fulfill what's been put in front of you. You can do that. See, if God gave you that vision, He didn't give it to you only by yourself. He gave you people. And so your growth, it's meant to be a blessing on those you care about and those you love. Like your growth, your improvement, you as you continue to work hard to better yourself and to achieve these things, to have that impact, it's meant to bless people, not to be a burden on them. So how can you do this? How can you achieve that? Don't bulldoze through people, respect those relationships, pull people along. How can you go about doing that? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's the second point we're going to be talking about. And the second point is the how. So right now, if you have that big vision, that goal, it's something that's ambitious, maybe it's a little bit different than where you've been, and your family might be a little bit skeptical, or your team might have some doubts on it. Maybe they've seen you start and stop different things before, or maybe they've seen you get fired up over something. If that's the case, you're not alone, my friend. I've been there. I'm right there. Because they see those things. But then it's what you do about that. So instead of just trying to convince them, asking them to believe your words, why don't you show them some of the fruits of your actions, your behaviors, and your growth? See, growth compounds, and eventually the benefits, they become undeniable. They're going to be able to see that. Well, maybe not from day one, it might be day 20, 30, or 50. But over time, as you continue to work on your own improvement, your growth, and you're getting closer to making those changes that you want to make, to having that impact, to reaching your vision, as you're taking steps along the way, it's going to be evident the growth that you're growing through. And that's where they can start to buy into it more. And it's not by pushing them a lot, and it's definitely not by just trying to out-talk them and convince them. Instead, you're going to show them by your behavior, by your changed actions and attitude, by the discipline that you're showing, and they're going to be able to see this. See, you do this by leading by serving. It's that servant leadership, but this is more so where you're going to be serving others by leading yourself well. See, if you want to be able to fully commit to that uphill work, start by serving the people around you. Because if you're serving them while you're working towards your goals, then they're going to buy in a whole lot more. When you show them that you care about them, this may be at family, in the community, or at work, on your teams. It doesn't matter the environment. When you show people, hey, you tell people, here's the vision that I have, here's how we're going to work toward it. And then instead of just demanding that they get on board, you actually go out and you serve them and help them achieve their roles. They're more likely to buy in to your vision because you've served them. And this is all, I'll try not to go down a tangent right here, but this has all to do with John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. The more that you're able to serve and help people achieve their goals, that you're interested in them, the more they're going to lean in and be able to follow you. So this is a way of getting people to jump on board without just demanding it. And see, when they see your growth, when you're becoming a better person, a better partner, a better parent, a better supervisor at work, a better direct contributor, whatever it is, when they see your growth, then they're going to start to buy in more. And then they're going to start to follow your vision because they see the growth that you're doing and they want to be a part of it. And you're helping them win at the same time. So now why is this so important? Like, what's kind of the real application of this? See, when you have that big vision, you want to just, get right after it. You got all that ambition, and it's tempting just to bulldoze through people. And I'm sitting here telling you, you got to slow down. You got to slow down. You got to make some of those positive changes in yourself first. You got to help, you got to serve the individuals that you're either living with, working with, or you're hanging out with. You serve them, and then they get on board. That sounds real slow. It sounds real slow, like I'm just telling you to slow down and to not get after it. Well, the slow build actually allows people that you love and care about to adjust. It allows them time to get on board without feeling like you're just going forward alone. So it actually respects their feelings. It helps them to get on board. It helps them to be able to support you. Now, look, here's a little, I'm going to be a little bit direct. Don't use your spouse, your kids, or your team as an excuse for your lack of discipline. Just because they're not on board right now, and because you have this big vision, this goal, and you want to get after it, just because they're not on board, that does not give you a justification to use them as an excuse for you not doing what you can do. All right. I'm being a little bit direct. So you don't have a whole ton of time to put into this new project or this vision, this new goal. Fine. Can you wake up 15 minutes earlier and work on it? You want to do your personal growth and development, and you don't have, just abundance of time to read. Cool. Can you get to work 15 minutes earlier and read in the car to do your own personal growth and development then? Can you can you force yourself to take a scheduled lunch break during your day? And in that, instead of just relaxing and scrolling on social media, or I shouldn't even call that relaxing because that tends to do worse for our mindset and mental space, but I digress. So instead of just checking out for those minutes, can you do some of your personal growth and development then? What is it that you're working on that you can't find a few minutes in the day to begin to work on? What is that vision? Can you begin to take steps toward that vision without requiring, the time, effort, and energy and full commitment from everybody else? Can you take those small steps toward it? Well, I'm going to venture to say that you probably can. You hear me talk enough about how small steps will take you farther than large leaps. Well, here's how you begin to do it, is you begin to do it so then you're not using the excuses of other people. Instead, you're doing what you can do in the time that you can do it. Begin to show your discipline. Begin to show your commitment. Begin to show some of the growth and the progress. See, that's not between you and anybody else. It's between you and you. It's between you and yourself, what you're willing to do before you get the buy-in of everybody else. Develop some of that discipline, show some of that progress, and then you're going to begin to move forward slowly and steadily. And you're going to have that development, or that discipline. You're going to develop the consistency that's needed. You're going to be able to begin to show that you're making that progress. You're showing your kids that excellence doesn't have to cost them a relationship between their mother and father. Think about that. You're beginning to show in your team that pursuing excellence and to have that high performance and that higher standard does not come at the cost of burning bridges and bulldozing people. You can be respectful of people. You can help them succeed. You can serve them while also holding yourself to that higher standard to reach for that vision of your potential that you have. Will it take longer than just bulldozing right through everybody? Yeah, possibly. But as the old saying goes, if you want to see how fast you can go alone. If you want to see how far you can go with people. Have that team. And by doing that, to have that team, you've got to respect those relationships and respect where they're at. Just because they're not moving as fast as you doesn't give you a reason to use them as an excuse for not going after it. You just have to adapt. Start going in the gaps in the areas that you can, find those brief moments of margin, or create them so that you can do what you can do from where you're at right now to reach toward that vision. Remain consistent, persistent. Even if it's going to take you a little bit longer, it's going to show them that you're serious, that you're making progress, and that you're worth them supporting so that you can achieve that greater vision that you have for yourself as well as them, your family, your team, and the like. Sound good, my friend? It's time for you to get after it in the ways that you can, without bulldozing, while respecting the relationships. Your ambition is a good thing. Your ambition is a good thing. use that ambition so that you can remain persistent and consistent. Just make sure you're going at a rate that works well for those that you love and care about and work with. All right. Well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you're here. Take part in this. Everything worthwhile is uphill all the way, but the climb is worth it. It is worth it, my friend. Your effort for your own growth and development, to live that life that you know you want to live, to live according to your values on what's most important to you, your life, your family. These are important things. Stop drifting and start leading your life. Claim your day, my friend. All right. As always, I recommend that you subscribe. That way you don't miss any of the future episodes, where I'm always doing series here, so you don't want to miss one out in the series. And come over to Substack. It's a great platform where we have discussions, a lot of positive personal growth and development, as well as a lot of other people are sharing quality information on there too. So I'd love to see you over there. Just look up Nick Mazie on Substack. And as always, you can go to nickmazie.com. You can listen to episodes, read show notes, and I have that intentional choice guide on there as well. All right. Well, thank you for listening, and I can't wait to talk to you again in the next episode, where we continue this conversation around the uphill climb.